Tim, for planning this route that was longer than you led me to believe and could potentially be my most climbing during any ride yet.
I love leading to your best accomplishments.
We'll talk about this later.
So for our latest adventure, our buddy Dylan drove up from Columbus and joined us, and we left from Aaron's house. Within a quarter mile of leaving, we actually ran into my buddy Kyle. Got to get our surprise guest.
That's right. I can't you. Yeah, been warming up for this long ride.
The overall plan was to end up at Camp Tuscazoar, which is where we were going to camp and also ride the mountain bike trails there. But we didn't go the normal way. We decided to plan a different route with some stops along the way. I had been working on a route all week, and then I accidentally shut down my computer, lost all my work on the route, ran out of time with being super busy, and just let Strava make the route for the most part. So what we were doing is we were going to stop at a brewery in Louisville, Ohio, not Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville. I got to get that in my head. But anyways, there's a brewery there that's supposed to have really good food and beer. And our buddy Micah, a.k.a. Genuine Article, does the artwork for all the cans there. And he does most of the artwork for this channel. So that was the plan. So it was going to be mostly a road ride. Then from there, we were going to go on to Minerva. It would be perfect time for another brewery break, just a quick beer. And then down to Camp Tuscazoar. So that's what we did. The route turned out to be okay. You know, if I had spent my time, I would have gotten us a different way out of Akron and its suburbs. We were kind of on some fairly busy roads with not great shoulders. It wasn't the worst, but it was definitely not the best. You know, Strava was set to most popular and any surface. But, you know, that's on me. But turned out to be okay. I didn't really film anything in that part because it was just basically us holding onto the bars and letting the traffic pass. But then we hit some really beautiful country roads on the way to Louisville, and it was really enjoyable. You know, after Louisville, getting into Minerva, we ended up on a lane that was a little road that was a little highway-ish and not that fun. Minerva was all right, and then the way out, there was about 4 miles on roads that weren't that great. But then, you know, we were getting near Magnolia and all that, and the country roads were, again, beautiful. And then some even got to the point where they almost felt European, where there wasn't even any use for marking the roads. So the way down turned out to be really cool. It was 80 miles. We got down to Tuscazoar. Our camp was right near the dam, the big dam down there, if you know where that is, which is off the Zoarville Valley Trail, which, if I understand correctly, will eventually be part of the Towpath. So we were down there. Our campsite was super secluded, super cheap, $30 for 2 nights. We were only staying 1, but you have to book for 2. And there's just so much space at this park, so many different campsites and cabins and all that. I wish I had been aware of Camp Tuscazoar sooner because we would have been camping there more often, and we'll definitely be going back to camp. So we got set up. We kind of ended up hanging out, and it was kind of late after an 80-mile day with a couple stops. So we just, you know, got a fire going, had some dinner and all that. And then our buddy Ben drove down after he got off work and joined us. And so hung out with him. In the morning, we got up, you know, did breakfast, coffee and all that. And then we went to ride. There's a bunch of mountain bike trails there. So we went up to, there's flow trails at the top. And of course, I was just on my Raleigh because it was bike packing, or bike touring, whatever. And we rode the flow trails, all of us, and they were a blast. I would say fairly beginner friendly and totally fine on a steel gravel bike with 42 millimeter tires. So you could ride them. Yeah, there was nothing that really, I don't think I ever had a step off. I don't think I ever put a foot down. So yeah, kind of a blast on the flow trails. I could see riding those multiple times, you know, if you were just there for the afternoon. And then what happened is Aaron jumped in Ben's car and drove home. And then Ben stayed with us and we rode the other trails, which were much more, I wouldn't say advanced, but you needed more of a proper bike for them. So, you know, we were definitely underbiked on our gravel bikes. Ben was on his Salsa Storm Chaser. And so, but we still rode them all. I only really walked some of the real gnarly rock gardens. And then there were a couple climbs that were really, that, you know, you'd be going up and it would basically be almost like I just couldn't keep enough momentum to get over the roots. But it was still a lot of fun riding it. Like, when you're underbiked, basically you just go slower. That's my opinion. If you had the capable bike, you would just be hitting everything faster. Me not being an adrenaline junkie, that doesn't really bother me. If I don't end up having to walk a ton, I still have a good time. So to me, it was still worth, for the 80-mile ride down to have the bike that was more suitable for that, than to, be totally on the right bike for the mountain bike trails. Anyways, I think we rode, this is rough, but I looked at the computer, I think we were about 10 miles of mountain biking and about 1,500 feet of climbing by the time we were done. And then we just hopped on the Towpath and rode the Towpath all the way home, which I think, was probably about 60 miles, because I know I ended up with a little over 70 for the day. We went into Bolivar, had some lunch at a brewery there, and then kind of cooked it the rest of the way home, only really stopping for water. I think we started riding a little too hard, because by the time we got towards the end of the day, my legs were fried. All that climbing right in the beginning, and then, kind of hammered it through Maslin and all that. But all in all, a great trip, and I would say Tuscazoar is totally recommended. If you, live near there, it's worth, driving in with your capable mountain bike. If not, though, I could see booking both nights to camp, getting down there, on a Friday, setting up camp, and then spending all day Saturday riding the trails and exploring. And then you could even ride off farther to there's some historic areas not far around there if you wanted to do some other things, or ride into New Philadelphia and Dover if you wanted to hit their restaurants and breweries. So yeah, definitely a place I'll be going back to. Route-wise, I definitely wouldn't mind doing the route we did on the way down again, just modifying those couple things if I could to avoid a couple of the busier roads, and also seeing if there was a little more gravel or anything like that to hit on the way down. So all in all, great trip. Thanks for joining me. Check out the swag shop link below if you want to help out the channel, and I will see you in the next one.